Hi, and welcome everyone to our second session for this webinar series, Protecting Our Children, Building a Safety Net for Their Well-Being. I am super excited about our upcoming conversation on how to build resilience and mental well-being in our children. So to make it more interactive, we will have activity during the event. So get ready a pen and a piece of paper. For those who would like to have the certificate of attendance, please stay with us. We will post the QR code at the end of the presentation, so you can scan and fill in your particular, and we will send to you once it's ready. I can see we still have people logging in, so we are going to give them some time, a minute or two to get settled, and we will get started later, very soon. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Thank you for joining our webinar this afternoon. This webinar series is organized by the Kuching Body Counseling Center. We are providing free telephone counseling and face-to-face counseling to the local community. So give us a call anytime during our service hour, and our volunteers will be there ready for listening. My name is Si Ting, and I'm your host this afternoon. If you missed the topic this morning on child abuse, good news for you. A recorded version of the webinar will be available on our Facebook page. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. We love questions. My guest this afternoon is Dr. Lai Mi Hong, a psychiatrist from Timberland Medical Center and also a lecturer from the University Malaysia Sarawak. Dr. Lai is very passionate in building a healthy community. She has been actively contributing her knowledge, experience, and skill in mental health, particularly in the area of preventing mental health problems and building emotional resilience in order to create a fruitful and meaningful life. Dr. Lai is also a strong believer and a practitioner of lifelong learning to embrace humanity, courage, and love. So let's welcome Dr. Lai Mi Hong. Hi, Dr. Lai. It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, hi, Si Ting, and everyone is here. And I'm really happy that I can be in this platform and share about what I'm passionate about. Okay? So I think everyone kind of like know that as a human we want to have wellness. And most of us know how to take care of physical wellness, physical well-being, but we are kind of quite clueless to deal with mental well-being. Right? So let's see. This is what happened, right? Okay. Let me. I can't really control the slide. Let me see.
Okay, please stay with us. All right. Thanks to our technical team.
Yeah, thanks for your patience. And but I find it like a lot of echo going on, so I will also try. Okay, now it's better. Can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think as a human here, we kind of we don't only just have the physical part, we also have the mental health part, right? Or social part, and even spiritual part. So for physical wise, we know as a baby here, you know what to look for, right? When you send your baby to clinic, you know, they will measure the head circumference, measure the weight. Then we know, oh, this baby is kind of like grow up healthily. But how about mental health? So what kind of indicator we are observing, you know, then we know our kid is kind of like healthy here emotionally, right? And they are not only survive, but they are thriving, you know, because we kind of notice some kids, they kind of like survive, but they grow up to be you know, like their life becomes smaller and smaller, and they become more and more rigid and doing things instead of they are thriving, you know. So let's see. I want to really hear from you, and I want to make this session to be interactive, right? So do drop comments here. You know, like how would you notice if a person's have mental well-being and resilience? So do go to the chat box and tell me your opinions here. Like, how would you know, right? You know, yeah, my kid is moving into a healthy directions. You know, like mental, he or she is having mental well-being here. Okay, sitting wrote something there about low self-esteem. Okay, if we notice someone that they struggle with themselves, right? That's telling us, yeah, something going on here. I probably need to kind of watch out, right? Okay, how about others? Like, let's ponder on this, right? Like, how would you know? What would you notice? Like my kids have mental well-being or resilient, or someone. Okay. Yeah, use you talk about, yeah, if a person isolated themselves like for a very long time, probably that's what use means, right? That telling us, oh, something's going on here, right? Okay, so Alicia say when they can express themselves well, all right, so they can yeah, definitely that's not a very easy task, right? From you know, from in my mind, I want to articulate that. All right. Okay. Yong Cheng say can they can ask for help. All right. Uh-huh. So how about others? Yeah, I think quite a few of you kind of having some kind of idea, right? Or a lot of us have actually not really kind of like thought about that probably, right? I think this is quite common also because this is something not being really promoted, you know, in school or in our society to talk about mental well-being or resilience, right? But deep down in us as a human here, we have some kind of wisdom. We kind of know that this is important, but a lot of time we are quite clueless. How do we help our kids with mental well-being and resilience? So let's see. This is the definitions that we have, right? It's you know, like what's this statements probably mean is this a person that have mental well-being and resilience, that they can kind of like take care of themselves, right? In what way they can use their potential, you know, and we know life is hard. Life is not smooth all the time. There will be ups and downs, you know. But during that downs time, you know, stress time with uncertainties, with failures, they can still bounce back and even learn from that experience and move on, right? So I'm seeing like, yeah, then you can see that, yeah, they kind of having some kind of faith on themselves, right? They have some kind of confidence. They may not feel confidence, just like I don't every day feeling confidence to go to work, but I kind of learned that to have faith in myself. So probably that's something you kind of notice, right? And they have a balance between me and the other persons, right? They know how to take care of other people. They know how to contribute, and then they kind of having skills in dealing with their emotions in a more effective way. So this is what we probably can see in a person. So in and if we kind of like what I show you before that is kind of like a little bit, we kind of get the idea that, yeah, this is a kind of person thriving, contributing. They are at peace with themselves. They have confidence. They manage to use their time productively, even their free time fruitfully. So what we can kind of, there are some indicators here, right? This is another research that telling us that a persons that with mental well-being and resilience, what are the signs we can see? They know how to, like I say just now, they know how to take care of themselves. They know their limitations. They know when they need a rest. They can seek help appropriately. I see some people writing here like seeking help appropriately, right? They can develop friendship and love. They manage to give to others, and we talk about failure, right? So they can challenge themselves and learn from that, and viewing that as an experience for them to make life better here. And you also seeing that they can, because when you live longer in this world, you probably notice sometimes our mind will bring us to not being present. You probably notice that we have moments like this, right? Our mind bring us to the past, and that create a lot of psychological suffering, or bring us to the futures with a lot of uncertainties, especially after experience COVID, right? We facing COVID, so sometimes we will live in kind of like future, then there are lots and lots of anxiety, and sometimes those anxiety when it kind of dominated our behavior here. So we are making decision kind of based on fear. So seem like that person have an ability how to bring back their focus to the present moment and be present. And that's another indicator in staying physically active, like a healthy body, healthy mind kind of concept, right? So those are a few things that we probably notice in a person. So let's ponder on, like, yeah, that sounds something, a direction that we really want to move towards, like helping our kids that in those areas. And let's think about what are the challenges that for you as a parent or as a teacher, or for yourself, to what kind of challenges that you are facing in cultivating mental well-being and resilience, either in your children or even yourself, right? So let's put in the chat box and share your views here. Okay, you talk about time, right? Yeah. Probably time it's something we need to consider about. Yeah, no time, right? It looked like this is something really hard. It is in deep, like it sounds easy here, but when you start doing it, start practicing it, it is can be pretty hard. Okay, so Yongcheng, yeah, bullying, yeah, the environment you can send it is kind of like different now, right? We live in a society that's pretty different from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I think for a lot of adults here probably will kind of like notice that, like our younger generations, what they are facing is little it's quite different from what we are facing now. You know, like the bully can go online, can, you know, the cyberbullying can be the whole world thing. You know, it can be pretty hard for the younger generations. And shall we, yeah, lack of resources, don't know how to do it. Yeah, like we talk about, this is not something we commonly you know, like deal with, right? Or people kind of like talk about. Yongqing also talk about screen time. I would say that's a quite a big challenge. Yeah, self love for oneself. Like you know, in fact, to love ourselves is not something very easy. You know, we thought it will come naturally. In fact, it is not. Like I'm seeing a lot of young people, they're not very sure how to love themselves. Sometimes they kind of having this kind of conflict. If I love myself, would I disappoint others? If I go for my way, would that make my parents you know, like disappointing my parents? So sometimes it can be pretty hard. Or sometimes they even think, if I love myself, that I will become lazy, you know, or I would you know, like I cannot perform, you know. So sometimes people have that kind of myth, right? So later we're going to touch a little bit on that. How do we kind of navigate about that? Uh-huh. And community, yes, probably not the whole community understands about this, right? Shirley talk about, yeah, having dialogue with them very often to create that trust and confidence. So look like Shirley kind of have some kind of idea here. I really like that idea, to talk to our younger generations more, right? To have conversation instead of just lecturing. Uh-huh. So yeah, we live in a very complex modern world. Um, you know, like phone is something that bring a lot of knowledge, but we also notice that I have young people telling me, after they know so much, that kind of paralyze themselves. They're not very sure how to move, how to talk to people, because when they read more about the world, they kind of telling me that different people have different opinion. So I'm so scared to say a wrong thing here. I'm so scared to upset people here. So that's actually paralyze them. And we also probably notice that you know, phone becomes something that they spend long time in that, and sometimes they start to forget what's the things that they really care about here, like, you know, study, develop themselves, wanting to learn, all those kind of thing, because like they a lot of young people using phone to kind of numb themselves. We do that once a while, right? We know, yeah, there are something important here, but I kind of I don't want to care about it. I want to relax first and use my phone. But for younger generation, that can be easily turned into like a habit kind of things. You know, especially after MCO. Like I remember, there are a period of time my nieces, you know, she spent like almost most of her time in phone, and you know, when during the transition, she find it really hard when she need to go back to school. She need to adapt back to the tuitions, you know, and that's really hard for her, that you know, to, because she has, as a young person here, she's dealing with how to manage her time properly. And later we're going to do a role play. You're probably going to see why, you know, phone can be pretty addictive, you know. So stay tuned, stay with us, and for that. And also, like they need to learn more thing in this society, and there probably a lot of time, even uh, the you can see a lot of advertisement actually socialize us, telling us that you know, go for only the nice feeling, go for only the pleasurable feeling. So they're having difficulty to deal with the unpleasant feelings. So you probably see a lot more young people, they are more living in their head instead of really live their life here. So that's the challenges, because probably that's something that we do not really have in the past, right? We, as a older generation, we have more opportunity to do something and to learn from our experiences here. But now they're changing they're learning kind of change a lot to learn from online, learn from other people. So sometimes they're lacking of the experience to doing things. And also you probably notice, the skill that required to live in this world, to live better, become more and more sophisticated. So if you read this report, right, pretty hard thing, right? You need to have complex problem solving. You need to be creative. You need to be critical. You need to know how to work with people. So this is not an easy task, right? Not like probably 20 years ago, like task is relatively simple. We can keep repetitively just doing the same thing again and again, and that's as long as you work hard, you stay in a job long enough, you just keep repeating the same thing, probably that will already make you very skillful, and you can secure a pretty nice life. But we know, like with artificial intelligence, with lots of robotic things going to replace humans here. So then the working force also become very different. So you can see our younger generation probably live in a pretty difficult world, and whatever the school equip them nowadays may not be useful anymore in the future. Because we kind of notice our education system more like training a persons probably work better in a factory setting, right? So I think the teacher are kind of struggling also for that. But we kind of get a sense that the world is no longer the same, but our education system may not be able to catch up in that way. So and as a parents here, we do not have time. We have many more other commitment, because as an adult here, we are forcing to learn all this, like what you see on my screen, right? A lot of trend errors. We learn it by ourselves, not really taught from our education system. Uh-huh. So what can we do? It sounds really, wow, this is really quite difficult, right? So there are many things we can't control here. The world is changing. Our children using handphone, we cannot control that. They need that to attend school, so we can't control that. There are a lot of factors that we can't control. Everyone just have 24 hours. We cannot just keep our children at home so that they won't get bullied. So that's not possible also. So what is that we can do, right? Let's come back to what's the thing that we have control here, so that we can help our children here. So before moving to what we can do here, I want to ask every one of you here, just make a guess, because this is very related with what I'm going to share later, and what we can control here. What is this, right? Guess this aspect of life. If you have more problem in this aspect of life, you probably will have less ability to plan and problem solve, ability to sleep, less emotional satisfaction, less chance of living a long life. So what is this? Put in the chat box. Okay, Shirley wrote that expose them to good and meaningful performances. Okay, so that's the idea, how to help them, right? So how about this, like how do we, like that? There is this one aspect of life that if lacking for this aspect of life, we it will kind of push us to end up to deal with more problem here. Like they may even not really interested in the performance. Okay. So Alicia, can I talk about time management here? Okay, so if you have time management, yeah, you maybe have all this. How about others? Okay, so let me review this. Strong relationships. So this is something really, really, really important. If no strong relationship, it's very hard to talk to our kids about time management, right? They won't listen. You know, uh, Without strong relationship, it's very hard for a person to trust, to have faith on themselves. You know, and like Shirley talked about, like expose them to good and meaningful performance. Probably without strong relationship with them, they probably wouldn't want to come along with us, right? So yeah, this is something that we can do, that we have control here to build a strong relationship with our kids and to build a strong relationship with ourselves. Let's say I can see some of you watching here, you may not be a parent, you may not be a teacher, but you are coming here to know how to like help yourself with emotional well-being and resilience, right? Probably one of the things that we can have is to have strong relationship with ourselves, and how to get strong relationship with other people. Uh-huh. So it is important, and it's not conflicting. It doesn't mean that I have good relationship with myself that I don't need others. So no, in fact, with having good relationship with myself, that's helped me to build, to how to build strong relationship with others. Uh-huh. Because we know that from evolutionary science principle, we need others. We need ourselves. We need others. There are moments that uh, we need to reach out to other people, and other people shape us and we shape them also. Your kid shape you and you shape them also. We are influencing each other. We cannot control people, but definitely we are influencing each other, whether you like it or not. But we definitely can use that as something we have a little bit more control here. We want, so you are very influencer in your kid's life. So we can choose what kind of influence that we want to have on our kids, right? So we can learn that. Yeah. So with this strong relationship as a foundation here, right? So how do we facilitate our children to build mental well-being and resilience? So I'm seeing some people already putting some comments. I like that. Like you say, listen to them heart to heart, right? So what is that, right? So this is a wisdom here. Definitely it's a wisdom, right? And Shirley talk about understand their needs and interests, in any aspect of their studies. So we care for them, so how are we going to do it, right? So it's not I telling you how to do it, like just kind of lecturing style, right? How about this? I'm going to do a role play with Si Ting, uh, and you tell. Oh yeah, before that, before I doing a role play with Si Ting, I just remember probably we need to do something else first. Before that, okay. I want you, all the participants here, try to do something first. Let's do something together first, right? Take out the paper that you have prepared and a pen here. Just think of one of your kids that like one of your children. Let's say you are parents or teacher here, right? Write down like in your paper, just divide like into 3 part, right? Write down there, like think of that kid, that what's the roles that he or she has in his or her life. For example, it might be a student, a friend, a daughter or son or brother, something like that, or master of their pets, so roles in their life, or they are prefect, and what strengths that you see in them, in that person, and what weaknesses you see in them, because everyone have strengths and weaknesses, right? But let's say you do not have kids, right? You come here because you want to learn something for yourself. Then how about writing that for yourself? What roles that you have in life, okay? And what kind of positive self concepts you have, like I'm hardworking, I'm kind, what kind of negative self concept you have, like, yeah, I'm not good enough, because I have that thoughts, I'm not good enough, like i'm I'm fat, I'm ugly, that kind of negative self concept, and put it out on the paper. So at this point of times, what roles, strengths, weaknesses that your child has, or you yourself, has. And give me kind of like a thumbs up, right? Let's say you have done this, uh, or type done in the comments. Or if you don't understand my instruction, you can also ask in the chat box. Okay, so if Shirley, right, like they are shy, right? He or she is shy, right? Is that you want to put it under kind of like weakness, is it? Then you can write it down first. Yeah, Shirley probably know this. Sometimes, at times, right? Just put out something like generally. So if you already, you know, you finish doing that, then give me a signal here, like telling me that done, right? Like you can write the comment done. Okay, thanks, Alicia. Thanks, Becky and Shushan, right? Okay, for those who are just joining us, we are doing an activity. So you can pick out a piece of paper, uh, just ponder on, right, like the child that I care for, what roles, strengths, or weaknesses that my child have at this point of time. So if you're coming here, not for your child but for yourself, then you can write it like for yourself, right? What roles you have in your life at this point of time, like what kind of positive concepts you have. Three, just write three, right? And negative concepts that you have. Try to write three, but if one or two, also fine. Yeah, thanks for those who had done the activity, right? So let me ask a question here. Which one represent your kids here? Which one is him or her? Which one is you? So let me ask Siting, right? You're Siting, you're doing for a child or yourself?
Yeah, I'm done for my nephew at home.
So which one is?
Do you want me to tell you first about what I'm writing in the note?
No, so if I ask, I think there is echo, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So which one represent him, right? Is his role or his strength or his weaknesses?
I think each of every part, right? A little bit role, and then a little bit from the strength, and maybe a little bit from the weaknesses.
Yeah. So certain, like probably a lot of you agree, right? All of those are him, and he's more than this, right? So yeah, like he's not only his role, it's not only his strength, not only his weakness, right? So all are him and he's more than this, right? Let me ask another question here, right? If 5 years ago I asked you to do this exercise for that child, right, or for yourself, do you think it's going to be the same or different?
In my case, because I have an 8-year-old nephew at home, if 5 years ago, it was totally different, his character compared to now.
Yeah, so it's different, right? Let me ask again, right? How about 5 years later? So 8 years old, it become like 13 years old, right? So what do you think? Going to be the same or different?
Definitely, it will change. He will change, I believe, and definitely it will different.
Yeah. So which one is him? 5 years ago, now, or 5 years later? Yeah, so certain.
This is a big question. He is he right now. What we see right now, he is not he that live in history or a coming future. So he is what we, from our perspective right now.
So yeah, so this is something that we kind of, yeah, who is him, right? He keep changing, and now this person is someone that I'm interacting with, but this person have a history, right? 5 years ago, he's not like that. So 5 years ago, he probably is a toddler. Now is a primary school student. The roles change, right? 5 years ago, he's not a brother, but now he maybe is a brother because he's a younger siblings here, right? So it changed, and the strength and the weaknesses also. It might be same in some way, but it most likely will be different. And 5 years later, right? He grew up, right, as a adolescent now. So things going to be different. So I would say all of that is him, right? That's his past, that's his present, and that's his future. Uh-huh. So what I'm trying to say here is all of us is not just one thing here, but a constantly changing process, like nature, right? Like sky, the cloud in the sky. Sometimes the cloud is dark cloud, sometimes it's a bright cloud. Keep changing, right? Those are ideas that we, ideas that we put on ourselves or put on other people. Sometimes we even let those ideas kind of define us, but we know we are not those ideas. Those ideas just part of us. We are more like the sky. We can always step back and be the sky. So that's one thing I really want to share here. In order to build this resilient, we want to adopt this very flexible view about ourselves and about our kids. We want to know that change, it's possible. And we do not want to label our kids with she is lazy, and that then she view herself as lazy. She has certain behavior. She is not defined by that laziness, right? She is more than that. You probably notice a lot of kids, they are very lazy in their homework, but they are very hardworking in playing games. They are very hardworking in things that they are very interested. So you notice that because if we start labeling them, we view them as such, that they're going to do that on themselves. Even this is a positive thing. You are kind, right? Then if that person start to label themselves, or they become stuck even in positive self-concept. For example, like, for me, I sometimes stuck in this concept that I'm kind, but I notice when I'm stuck in there, I probably become unwise. There are a lot of times I start doing things just to make myself feeling kind. I just want to feel good, but instead of doing something wise here. So for example, I remember when I'm just starting working, after I get more experience, I start to, not seeking for help, not delicate thing, because I want to appear kind, then it put me at the verge of burnout. you know I'm not sure how to kind of doing self-care, especially, we grow up in an environment that we very highly, like, need to be productive, like we chasing for achievement, and we kind of like saying like, if you can do everything, then you just do it. Definitely this kind of idea, it helped me in certain way. But if I get stuck, this is the only view that I have had about myself, then I start noticing that I put myself, at the verge of burnout. And I also start realizing that I actually sometimes hinder people growth. When I sit back and I look at it, like, your siblings, they become overly depends on you, then I start to take a step back. Yeah, I'm kind. I need to be kind to myself also. When I start to be kind to myself, then I start sharing with my siblings about my difficulty here. Then eventually that bring benefit for them also. They start to, like, do things in their own way. No need to be my way. So I learn to trust people more in that sense. So this is what happened if we just letting one thing to define us. It may not be very wise. And how about the negative self-concept? A lot of us kind of have idea that the negative self-concept may not be a good thing, right? We always see that those with high self-esteem, or low self-esteem mean that they have thoughts like I'm not good enough, I'm useless, I'm worthless. It's an issue there if they view like themselves just with one view. But if I ask you, think about the so-called successful people here. Do you think they have that thoughts also? Siting, do you think they have that thoughts also? How about others? Do you think the so-called successful people, do you think they also sometimes have this thought, I'm not good enough? I doubt about myself.
Yes, I believe there is. Yes.
We are human here, right? I'm sure you do not want to, you do not want to have a kid, or your upbringing is he or she is someone that kind of like never feel guilty, never feel not good enough. I'm always good enough. I'm always wonderful. I'm always right. What would happen if we kind of like, like give that kind of idea to our kids? I'm sure you don't want, right? I don't think they're going to have friends, right? For someone who feel guilty about something, for someone who kind of like have this thought, sometimes is there to help us to do self-reflection, because we are not perfect here, right? So in fact, all of us had that kind of thought. But what's the difference here, right? Like for someone who have resilience, who have emotional well-being, when they have that thoughts, right? They notice that, okay, is this thought going to help me? Some people use it for learning. Okay, yeah, I'm not good enough in this area, so how can I learn about it? Oh, I'm not good enough in this. Maybe I can learn to accept it and move on to the thing that I'm good at, right? Or like some people say, yeah, when I did something, right, it turned out the result is not very good. When this thought pop out, like I'm not good enough, sound like not very helpful, because I notice when the thoughts pop out, right, my energy become very low. I'm viewing myself as a problem here, because with that, the thoughts will follow. Is like, you can't do that. I start limit myself. I notice that's not very helpful. So what I do, right, I will notice it, but I wouldn't need to get rid of it. I will expand my focus. What can I do here? Probably I will leave this aside first. Let me get a rest. Let me get do something else. Yeah, it can be asleep, because it's just so tiring, right? Doing the whole thing and the result turn out not what I want. I feel so disappointed here. So I say I want to do self-care now. I want to take a rest. Okay. Then what happened to the thoughts, right? The thought, well, fly to somewhere else, right? It won't always be there. So I won't spend my time fighting with my thoughts here. Or I also won't following my thoughts here, because I know it's not helpful. But what happened is, as an adult here, sometimes we kind of give this kind of advice, right? Don't think about this. You are not. Don't think about it. So what happened? Just like I ask you now, right? Don't think about pink elephant. Don't think about pink elephant. Don't think about pink elephant. So what's pop up in your mind? Pink elephant, right? Yeah. Then what happened, right? You start to struggle with this thought. You start to do lots of things that I don't want this thought to pop out. Right? In fact, those thoughts pop out, it's kind of telling you something here. Something you really care about here. You care about yourself. You probably want improvement. Yeah. So you feel very disappointed about you put in effort, but you didn't really get what you want. So the thoughts there probably is telling you something here. So we can kind of understand about that thoughts, so what is that you really care about here, and we can also learn to notice it, but we not need to let that dominate our behavior here. We kind of know that yes, like I'm still like work in progress, right? I'm not perfect, and it's okay. I can be kinder to myself here instead of being that critical and not helpful here. Uh-huh. So if we can kind of like look past that thought, look past certain concept that we have regarding our child here, we can look past that and see that he's more than this, and you probably won't waste the time, or I think a lot of time we're trying to help, right, to say something. I don't think about that, but it can potentially backfire, because that may give our child ideas that they need to fight with their thoughts. So in fact, if we can demonstrate that it is normal, we accept that thought is normal, then yeah, that they kind of start have peace with that, and we learn from that thoughts, right? Instead of let it kind of dominate my behavior here. So what I'm trying to say here is a lot of time the thoughts that you have, the thoughts that they have, the emotion that they have, is not really the problem here. The problem is when you get stuck in there. Uh-huh. So how do we not moving our child into that direction, right? Like they view their thoughts or emotion as a enemy here, right? Instead of part of them, and use that to understand themselves. What we can do is we want to encourage, when we talk to them, when we press them, we want to encourage growth instead of because they really see that if we press kids in certain way, that is potentially not helping them. So they do a research, like two group of students here. One group, they tell them you are very talented, you're very smart. Okay? The other group, they press them for their effort. I can see you work hard for something here. I can see you try different ways to do this. Instead of pressing them for certain characteristic, for certain outcome. So they do this experiment, right? And what they found in the experiment, if two group, they give them puzzle. The group that you press them for, you're a smart boy, you're a smart girl, right? They tend not to pick the harder puzzle to do it, because if they do the harder puzzle, if they fail it, then that may mean that I'm not smart. So they start to stuck in that idea. Then for the group that you press him for his effort, his strategy, right? They tend to pick the harder puzzle to do that. So you start to notice that, like, a lot of time the outcome we do not have 100%, and certain character here, we definitely we want to, for example, I want to be kind, but I do not kind of like stuck in that kindness and being unwise here. So I start to kind of control what I have a little more control here, like my effort, my strategy, my choices here. And we also kind of give them corrective feedback, right? For example, it's just hard doing homework and have fun to play again. How do you think you can get the homework done today? So that's what we can do here, so that we can have that perspective, right? Our kid is not just defined by one thing here. He or she is richer than that. He is, a human with strength, with weaknesses, follower human being here. But at the same time, he's someone that can learn, can improve, can be the better versions of himself or herself. And that's more like a direction. It's not like I reach that. Oh, now I'm the better version of myself. So I reached that. I do not want to lose it. No, it's a continuous process. It's a direction, like we move towards that. Okay. So, any questions so far, or anything you want to ask? Hey, if not, okay, I'm seeing some comments here, right? Because I really love interacting with you so that we can learn together, right? Yeah, self-reflect mistake, right? Okay. Okay, yeah, I think Shirley, yeah, okay. Yeah, I hope that's also kind of like clarified some ideas here about being positive, right? Because sometimes we are too can sometimes be a little bit stuck in that, like we only want the positive thoughts and feeling, but that may potentially become kind of like backfired, right? I'll tell you more later. We're going to see that. And now I'm going to tell you a story here. See what you get from this story, right? This is a story about a couple. They live in jungle long time ago. They're married, and they start having the wife is pregnant, and then deliver a baby boy, right? So it's kind of like a happy moment, but it's a painful moment also, right? And what happened is the wife died, during delivery. Then soon it become a tragedy, right? From happy moment, and it turned to a tragedy. So what happened is fortunate enough that they have a dog to be with this man after he lost his wife. This dog had been there for him. You know, uh, whenever he was sad, he missed his wife. This dog will be very quietly sit down there, be with the master. That's dog, right? They are faithful, that they can be there for you. But what happened one day? This man said, I need to go out from my house to into the jungle to look for some food here. We are running out of food. And then so I'm going to leave my baby for 1 hour. Then I want to kind of go out. So this is what happened. That when but thunderstorms. Then he kind of trapped in the jungle for a little bit longer. So 2 hours that he's very anxious, because he trapped in the jungle for 2 hours. Then he come back a little bit longer than what he thought he going to be in the jungle. And when he reached home, he saw his dog. This is what he saw: his dog blood in the mouth. Then he quickly rushed into the room, the house, right? And he cannot find, he could not find the baby. So what he did, he get very angry. What's in his mind, right? He say, my what happened to this dog? The dog turned wild and eat my child here. That's the thoughts that pop out in his mind. Get very angry. So what he did, right? He killed the dog. Okay. But then after he killed the dog, right? Then he heard a baby cry. Then only then he noticed that, oh, actually the baby is at one of the corner. And then when he looked a little bit far away from, not very far from that corner, there is a wolf. There was a wolf lying there. Uh-huh. So then this is what happened. Then he realized that, oh dear, I kill my dog here. Actually, what happened? So what do you think actually what happened? A wolf, a dog with blood, right? Become very bloody, the dog, and the baby at one corner. So what happened? Siting, what happened?
The wolf is attacking the baby,
And the dog?
and the dog trying to rescue the baby.
Yeah, in fact, this is what happened, right? Yeah, a lot of time, we as a human here, we see certain behavior, a certain behavior of our kids, right? We may straight away jump to conclusion, just like this man here, right? That's human. We do that, especially when we have certain emotion, we are very anxious, then there are these ideas that pop out, right? So then sometimes that may not be very helpful. We start reacting, just like this man here, right? So yeah, like in fact, the dog is protecting the baby, right? So what I want to share here with this iceberg, right, is we see certain behavior here. Our kids did something. Our kids say something here, but beneath that, what you see is only tip of the iceberg. Beneath that, there are feelings, there are certain thoughts, there are certain longing here, yearning there. There are certain expectation there, which lead to that behavior. Because a lot of time when we look at the behavior, we may kind of stuck in our certain thoughts, right? Then we start to react, or stuck in our certain emotions here. Then we start to react. So that may not be very helpful. So the subsequent sessions, what I really want to do is how do we kind of walk past that behavior? How do we kind of build strong relationship, even though my kids are stuck with certain emotion here, my kids are stuck in certain behavior here. What else can I do, right? Apart from not just act on my certain thoughts here, because may not be helpful if I act on it. Like for example, like thoughts that we may have may not be very helpful. Like he is always like that. He is lazy, right? Because when we start being kind of like judgmental here, like we start labeling our kids here, we may we may act in a way may not be helpful for each other. But if you ask me, Dr. Lai, do you have judgmental thoughts? Definitely I have. As a human here, we tend to judge, right? Because we need that part, like when you go and buy things, you need to judge the price, right? You need to do comparison. But my mind can easily, like use that to judge people also. I noticed that, we are human here, but I know that's not very, very helpful, because labeling is for product, not for people, right? And what I noticed also, if I become judgmental here, my creativity drop. I start to like, yeah, nothing I can do here. Unless you change, if not, nothing I can do here. So I noticed that I'm getting stuck in my thought. So I aware about it. I know, acknowledge, yeah, I'm human here. Yeah, it is normal to have that thoughts, but that's thought not helpful. But some people tell me, yes, my kid's lazy. That's a fact, Yeah, okay. So uh, it might be a fact, but we also notice he's very hardworking playing games. Oh yeah, and now I'm confused already. So a lot of time, how we look at our thoughts is we are not looking at it whether it is facts or not, because the facts can be pretty it really depends on how you look at things, right? Instead of it is like that, so I would say I tend to see whether this is helpful or not, when those thoughts pop out, like how do I know if I follow that thoughts, if I on that thoughts, would that make my life bigger, would make my life fruitful, would that bring me to the directions that I want to be, would that bring up the better versions of myself, right? Would that be improving relationship here? So if it's not that, I can kind of step back and definitely not 100% I can do it, but I really want to do it more and more. As a human here, we can still get stuck and react in a way may not be very helpful, right? So let's because I want to use a role play to kind of show that, right? So especially when we see certain behavior, that it may not be very it kind of make us angry here, then we tend to jump to conclusion, we tend to react instead of responding. So instead of I tell you how, let's do a role play. I will do it with Siting, and you see, is this like how I deal with it, would it be something kind of like, yeah, if this can happen to me, it will be kind of nice also. Let's see, would that be something that you also want, right? Okay. So okay, yeah, I think the scenario is like this. Siting, she's going to be my daughter. I'm going to be the mom. And what happened is she's spent quite a long time already in her handphone, and in fact tomorrow she has a exam. So how do you feel as a parent here? Huh. Yeah. Okay, Ting Ting, Ting Ting, can you hear me?
Yeah, mom. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Ting Ting, I noticed that you have been spending quite a long time in your handphone. I thought you have exam tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So what happened? Because I thought exam, but these few days, like, mommy noticed that you didn't really kind of doing revisions, and I see that kind of change in you, like what happened?
Mom, I actually very afraid and very worried about my
Is it can't really hear? Is it?
Yeah, I'm actually worried about my exam. I'm very afraid I can't do well. I can't really do well in my subject.
I see. So you kind of feeling worried, and you're so afraid that you can't do well, right? Okay. Then when those feeling come, right? Like when you have those feeling and you have those thought, then what happened? How you deal with it, Ting Ting?
I'll play my games, and games is fun, so I'll feel happy again. I try not to think about it.
Oh, okay. So now I got it. Like it's a way, playing game is a way to help you to cope, right? And you like playing game because it is fun compared to, like if you do your study here, then that make you really afraid, right? Okay, yeah. So then what happened after you play game, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to think about it.
Then what happened to your exam?
I can't do well. I'm not good in that.
Oh, Ting Ting, since when? Mommy didn't know that. Oh, since when, right? You start kind of like struggle with these thoughts, right?
I do bad in my past exam, and I think the teacher, I think she didn't like me. Yeah, my friends are doing well, but I'm not. I think I'm just not as good as they are.
Oh, so there is something like this happen, right? Like you didn't do well in your exam, and you kind of notice that teacher didn't really like you, right? Well, what the teacher said and did, right, give you that kind of impression.
The teacher said I always get lower marks.
Oh, okay. So the teacher mentioned that, and how did you feel, right, when the teacher mentioned that?
I'm sad. I try my best, but I just can't do well.
Hmm. So you put in effort, but you didn't really get the result you want, right? That's why you're feeling sad, disappointed, right? So that's, yeah. Alright. Then when teacher said that it is that it remind you that about like not doing well in exam, right? Yeah. Mommy can see that you actually care for this exam, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
because if you do not care for it, I don't think you will feel sad and disappointed, right? Ah, so when you feeling sad and scared here, right? That scared feeling also telling mommy that you really care for your exam. Uh, then when you start playing games, right? What happened to your result?
I still cannot get good result.
Oh, so in fact, is that making the result kind of drop further? Would that cause that also?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, so sound like we are in a kind of difficult situations, right? When you feel sad, you want to look for fun, right? Yeah, playing game is kind of fun here, but the more you play the game, then the more you won't spend time for your study. Then it move you away from the thing that you really care about, right? So how do you feel like when you notice that? I try to do something to help myself, but yeah, it kind of helped, like give me fun, but it also cost a big price here, right? I stopped doing what I really care for here.
I
So how?
I I think I need help, mom.
Oh, okay. So do you need mommy help here?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, let's figure out, right? Let's see how can we do it. Mommy is here to help you. Okay? Yeah. Okay, yeah, thanks, Si Ting, right? Okay. So what do you notice here? Ah, instill confidence in the child that she can do better. Maybe talk to the teacher as well. I think she play games to lessen her stress. Just let her do it a little while, then go back to revision. Okay. Okay, Shirley, kind of start to understand, right? Uh, so you see how I talk to Si Ting here, right? Ting Ting here, right? Uh, I'm here not to solve her problem. I know I can't. I cannot study for her, and I'm not here to take away her feeling. I know I can't, but I'm here to understand her. What I'm trying to do, like I noticed something here that I'm quite puzzling, right? She care for her study, but she's not doing her revision here. Oh, she's scared. Uh-huh. So what would you do, right, when your kids tell you that like what would you do? Like usually what's your usual style if a kid's playing computer there and tomorrow is exam? I know a lot of parents when what they try to help the kids is scolding, right? Like tomorrow is exam, how come you do that, right? But that sounds like not very helpful, right? Or for some people they tell me it's quite helpful. Like I scold, then they straight away go and do study. Do you have that experience? I scold them, they go and do their revision. So indeed for some people that's very effective, like especially when we lack of time, we want something fast, right? So I go and score, then he starts studying. But you probably notice that won't last very long. Like then you need to keep scolding. It's very tiring, right? And he or she seemed like didn't get it, right? He or she study just because I scold. He or she start want to avoid that scolding, right? So it may not be very helpful in the long term. So what we really hope to help our kids is, they want to do something for themselves. They know that something he or she really want. So I didn't threaten her. I didn't scold her because even it is useful. She studied for a while, but I think the price is too costly. And one thing that very costly will be going to spoil my relationship with her. So if she next time she has problems, she had issues, she won't really come back and talk to me. So I want to look for something, to talk to my kids so that I can care for her feeling, but at the same time, helping her to achieve what she really want here. Because I believe every kids want to learn, want to improve, want to kind of do well in their study. Especially if they can notice that can help them to learn it, that give them satisfactions in learning instead of just go for the result, right? So this is my direction here. Then some parents will say, then if okay lah, I don't want to hurt her feeling, then I okay lah, you want to do what you do lah. I start to more like indulgent, right? Indulgent, like whatever lah. But we kind of also notice that not very helpful, right? It's only more convenient for me. I know it to stress, right? But that's not very helpful for my kids, right? And probably that's also give them idea that's they cannot really come to me also because whenever they have issue, then I just say okay lah, like like no need to do lah, so that's the issues here. If we only kind of like care for what I want here, but not what she want or her feeling here, I only care for my feeling here, it may not be helpful. We may kind of score or lash out, right? Or if I only care for study, I don't talk about feelings. I will lecture her. I will tell her like, all the good thing you need to study hard. Do you think going to work for her? She's playing game, that I start lecturing. You need to study, that's for your future, like how can you do this? Then I start lecturing. Do you think going to help?
Maybe once or two.
Yeah, but then again, every time need you to lecture only, then she start moving, right? That's how really not very helpful here also, right? Right. I start to kind of like, Ting Ting, you do this, I give you this. You do this, okay? You study, then I bring you for meal. Is that okay to use that?
Children like that. Children like that.
Once once a while, okay, right? Once a while, we really want to encourage them, right? But we know that it kind of but in the long term, if we keep doing that, you kind of get a sense that it's not very, you know, you kind of miss the point kind of thing, right? You get that feeling, right? So so what Dr. trying to say here? Yeah, there are things that maybe we use it once a while, okay, but in the long term, it may not be very helpful, right? So what's our our other approach here, right? So I think I like this view, right? When we are with the kids, we want to understand him or her, and we also want to help him or her to understand my point of view. But a lot of time I need to understand my kids first before he can take my point of view. And I also believe that what I want and what my kids want actually is quite similar. If you look at this iceberg here, deep down, right? I think all of us want to learn, want to have connections, want to improve, want to be a better versions of ourselves. But what happened is a lot of time our kids, right? That there is something in her, in him. There are resources in him, uh-huh, or her, right? But sometimes they get really stuck in their feelings, in their thoughts. That one view. You remember I talked about just now, right? They get really stuck, so they can't see the other aspect. Uh-huh. So what we do is because I think a lot of adult and even ourselves here, sometimes how we deal with difficult feelings really cause an issues here. Because a lot of time we are socialized to being believed that like only the pleasant feeling is allowed in me or in my family in this relationship, but that can be really the effect can be really backfired here. So can you imagine if you're with someone, you can only have pleasant emotions? Oh, you need to be happy all the time. That's really not normal, right? So in fact, like what we want to understand here is actually difficult feelings are normal. So we no need to eliminate it, because you start to realize a lot of us or our kid, when they start to not having the mental from a normal feeling, how that become an abnormal thing, right? Is I start to view it like as an abnormal here. So I start doing things that I want to eliminate that. I play game, I have fun, I start to numb my feeling here. But in long term, it causing more issues here. So in fact, if you think about all the value activities, often elicit pleasant and unpleasant feelings. Difficult feeling is something, uh, you're going to have it if you're doing value activities, study, marriage. Those are meaningful things, right? Having a kid, parenting, it is so meaningful. It's so valuable. So it always comes with pleasant and unpleasant feeling. I never meet with any parents that only have pleasant feelings. All parents, as a parents, as a teacher, we get angry, we get disappointed, we get worried, but we know that those feeling is there for a reason, right? Because we care here. In fact, we can even use that feelings to help us. So when we talk to our kids, it's not to eliminate her feeling. You probably notice I didn't kind of cannot be angry, cannot be sad, don't be disappointed. I didn't use word like that, right? And you notice how that feeling changed, right? From she very her facial, at the end of after talking to her, she from helpless, right? From she said, I need help. And that you see that change, a feeling kind of change by itself. Uh-huh. So what we are doing is more like attune to her feeling here. Feeling will come and go by itself. In fact, the more you want to get rid of it, you create more emotion here. Like she start from
having issue with study, now having issue with mom also, having issue with her leisure time. You seeing like the problem kind of build up here. So this is what we can do. So apart from viewing my kids in a more rich perspective here, she's not defined by one thing here, and regarding difficult emotions here, what I want to do is I want to validate that. So what does that mean, right? Validate means I can see that there is a reason for her to have that feeling, right? Scared. She care about her study. It makes sense, right? In fact, that telling me she care for her study, and it makes sense also. She want to look for funding. As a human here, we always, right, like once a while, okay, but when it become like a habitual thing, it become issues here, right? So it makes sense for me to do that. I may not agree, right? I don't need to agree. I don't need to say, so I wouldn't say things like you should not feel that way. I may not agree with how she cope, but I really want to understand how she cope first before we can work on how to cope better here. So what invalidation is like, I'm sure a lot of parents is really unintentionally doing that. A lot of time we want to help, we want to, but it's very clear, not only not helpful, but we may start to throwing ideas that they need to fight with their emotions here. They start to instead of accept that emotion as a normal thing, they start to see that's abnormal. I need to get rid of it. They start to have cannot have peace with themselves here. So this is what happened. So it's validation, and definitely this is a skill that we can have, to learn to validate other people emotion, my kids emotion, and to validate my own emotions. So it's very important. So if you ask me as a mom, would I get angry? I will get angry, right? I will get worried. But what I do is I will self-validating that I'm angry because I care here. So how can I care? How can I care, right? Instead of lashing out my anger here. So I use that as a wisdom here. So we can train ourselves to value that. I wouldn't. You can kind of pick whatever that that's suitable for you. May not be exactly the words that they use here. Just pick your own language. Pick your own way of doing that. But the idea is more like, I want to pay attention to her so that she can sense that we are together. So I call her name, because if I don't call her name, I just speak like that. We are not at the same platform. So sometimes you kind of get that, right? She's not there. The body is there, but she's not there. So I call her name. Then I make sure she's with me. Then only I kind of ask her, right? I talk to her instead of giving her way, the solution. So I be with her first. The solution come later. Okay, so that's the direction. So how do I be with her when I'm seeing my kids kind of like start with certain emotion, thoughts of behavior here? I want to be with her first. Then sometimes I need to go for problem solving. Sometimes not. Some kids, after you be with her, they already know what to. They know how to solve their problem here. Okay. So any questions so far? So let me see the.
So, Dr. Lai, can I say something like I from what you have saying just now? Actually, self-awareness is it's a skill for everyone. It's not just for kids, but actually adults too. We always say that you have to be aware and then don't judge don't judge, don't say very critic words. So when the self-awareness will come after when you're aware that you have those negative thinking, but you're allowing yourself to have those negative thinking, but you can just let it there and continue with your own, your daily works, your daily life. Is that true? Is that like that?
Sitting kind of like we become, let's say you imagine this hand represent your negative thoughts or feeling. In fact, not only negative thoughts and feeling, even positive thought can be quite detrimental, right? Can you imagine if I have positive thoughts, right? Like I'm great. Let's say, like a driver that have this very highly positive thought, right? I'm great. And he get drunk, right? I'm great. I'm a great driver. He drink alcohol. I'm a great driver. Like come, take my taxi. Would you want to go into that car? So, right? A super positive thought, right? I'm right. I'm always right. But when you get hooked by it, get stuck by it, it may not be helpful, right? You start to seeing things just not in a bigger view here. So what we do is more like, you see that, but I don't struggle with it. I don't fight with it, because this is my thoughts here. But it is not very helpful. So I do this. Is the thought still there? Still there. So, but if the thoughts is kind of helpful here, then I will follow it. Help me to, make my life better here. I would follow. Not only short term, but long term. So I think Suting mentioned something, the awareness, right? We become aware. We notice like my feelings here, my thoughts here, and I open up to it. I make room for it instead of fight with it. I understand it as a parents here. We understand. So and let's go to, in fact, if you notice, right, I'm not just in that role play. I understand her emotion instead of eliminate it, right? Like but at the same time, I noticed that behavior, and a behavior that she spent quite a long time playing games, and this is exam time, so that is a context here, right? So you probably notice if this is holiday, that's fine, right? Like so that's a context here. So I notice a behavior, and I want to understand that behavior. So I want to use this model, kind of do a little bit explanation, see whether that also shine a little bit of light on how do we help our kids, right, to doing a tough thing here. So you notice that, right, when this behavior, let's say we put it like playing games, right? So the antecedent is actually something happened before that, lead to this behavior. Okay? The context is having exam. So the antecedent is there is a history here. Okay? So she not doing well in her exam, and then she has difficult emotions. So then she play games. Okay, so that's a behavior, and the consequences is what? She feel nice, she feel fun, and she really don't think about it. So then this, reinforce the behavior here. So that if the consequences reinforce the behavior here, right? Then this sound like, like what we call like whatever happened here may reinforce the behavior here. Let's say she get more what she want here. She want fun, right? Fun feeling, pleasant feeling. then that can also help her to avoid unpleasant feeling. So the behavior repeated. But let's say the consequences is something she doesn't like, yes, the behavior may reduce. So for example, the consequences if she play games, right? But she noticed that may not be helpful for her in long term. So then if she can go to that direction, that might be different here. But for the immediate, right, when we have this behavior, it always serves a function here. It probably help you to reduce or to get rid of your certain unpleasant emotion here. It make you have certain fun here. So then you will keep doing that. So this is when we look at behavior in that way, then what happened is you can help her to track her behavior. So what I do is I'm helping her to track her behavior. I understand what happened. So then she told me that she has emotions here, and this become a way for her to cope. But this coping is kind of helpful in a way that she have fun, but it's very pricey, it's very costly. So she didn't spend her time studying, then her result dropped. Then when her result dropped, she had unpleasant emotion, right? They become antecedent again. Then she play game because that's a way she know how to cope. Then this become a loop. You notice that it become a cycle thing. And the good news is also, if this is a loop, right? But we can kind of help her to change a bit, part of it. Then the whole cycle will be really different here, right? So this is, and this tracking behavior, right? I cannot tell her. You need to do it in a conversation way to make it more effective. She won't, probably you'll notice if I straight away telling her, this is not good for your study, like you keep playing game. Okay, you have fun, but you keep playing game, right? That's not going to help you. Tell me what emotion she probably have if I tell her that.
I won't be happy.
Okay, so when she's not happy, right? What she do? She play games, right? You notice that? Like we are really stuck here, right? So if I lecture her, I scold her, okay, she may change a while the behavior, right? She may change a while because she want to avoid you scolding her. Okay? She may study in front of you, but she's not happy, so it's very easy for her to come back. But definitely, I'm not here to say that you need to make your child happy. That is not possible, right? Okay? But what we notice here is that whatever you do here give an impact to her. So how about we use the other way? Because we know if you tell her yes, she want to avoid you scolding her, she may study for a while, but she may easily come back to that coping. So what I do is I help her to track her behavior, right? Like I understand about the situation, what she did, then what happened next. How do you feel next? Okay, oh yeah, it makes sense. Did it work out? Okay, yeah, it worked out, I have fun. But how about in long term? What kind of price she pay for that? Then I work on this, right? So then with that, yeah, you start to see like she start to feel helpless. I think I need help. You see, actually that helplessness help her to get help. When she start to have that unpleasant feeling, helplessness here, then she start getting help here, right? So I can also do here if I kind of accept her emotions here. So when the emotions, there is someone is there to validate that, then the emotion most likely won't become an issue here anymore. So the emotion will feel stuck, will feel, as long as emotion is freely move around, then it's not a issue anymore. When emotion become issue, it's stuck inside your body here, then you get stuck in the emotion. So that's then it become a problem here, right? So if I validate her emotion, and she no need to use playing game to numb herself here. Okay, so that's a potential things that can happen here. So then the whole thing kind of change. So I kind of target the, like I try to understand what she need here. So at the same time, let look for way that that she probably can get the same thing, but it's not that costly here. She may not feel fun talking to me, but she feel someone is there to understand her. So that kind of give her that strength to face whatever challenges here. Okay. So any questions? Okay. So if is that very difficult to do? Initially, it's very difficult. I would say because that's not the usual way we kind of talk to our kids, right? The as a human here, we tend to do things that we are familiar with. We are kind of familiar. We want the familiar experience, right? It may not be helpful anymore, but we kind of keep doing that because it sounds very, because it is familiar. So you can see the consequences here. It make you feel very convenient, very easy, right? Though the behavior may not be helpful anymore. So, but we can learn something here. Maybe I can try other way. Let's try other way to do thing, and probably thing will become different here. Not say I think a lot of, not say we totally get rid for my coping here. I really want to add on new coping here. It's more like it's a gradual process here. Okay, then the last part of my talk today, I'm going to explain a little bit more from this perspective, how a person moving into a directions of mental illness. How a person stop kind of doing all this. If you remember, I talked about this initially, right? That they stop doing all this because if you look at all this 6 ways, it's kind of like important things that matters to us, right? Like how they stop doing that, and they kind of stuck, and how that lead to mental illness, right? So this is one perspective here. I'm not sure, can you really see? It's kind of quite small, right? So what is that? Like we call it psychological inflexibility. So what does that mean, right? This are very technical, right? But when I talk about it, definitely you can relate to it because that's human conditions here. All of us doing that. In fact, as a human here. So this part of here, it's about feelings, especially unpleasant feelings and certain thinking, like unhelpful thinking, so what happened is we kind of get stuck here. How do we get stuck? Either we will keep doing things to eliminate it, so it becomes very centered in your life. Whatever I do, I want to get rid of it. I want to distract myself from it. And you notice that it becomes very centered in your life. Okay? Or I only want the pleasant emotion. I very stuck in it, or I dwell in it. So that's another possible what happened, right? It's something that and all of us do that. I'm sure all of us sometimes get stuck in our thoughts, right? All of us sometimes kind of try to reject our feeling and thoughts here. We don't think about it. So you notice once a while that's okay, but if that's become something kind of a habitual thing, that it may potentially lead to mental illness. So means that they like when you get stuck in your feelings, you do it in the unpleasant feeling, or you try to keep getting rid of it, or you stuck in certain thoughts here, then it may potentially lead you to be not present. Like I said, like the center part is being present. You know, uh, so what is depression? What is anxiety disorder? Right? It may start with a disappointment. Like let's say I use my hand again, right? Like I do exam, like let's say we use the case just now, how that can progress to a mental illness, right? Let's say these kids here, like not doing well for exam, and in fact she really care for exam, and in fact she care for her teacher also, right? How teacher view her, as a young kid here, we really look up to our adults here, right? So then she feel disappointed. Then she's not opening up for this emotion. It might be because when she had emotion, adult keep telling her like, don't have those kind of emotion. You cannot have what to fear. This is small matter, right? Then she start to get idea, okay, this is something not very good. I need to avoid it. Okay? Then when she keep doing that, she probably, like how she cope here. She start not present, because the present moment is there is an difficult emotions here, right? And that difficult emotion come from something happened in the past. Then she want to avoid that. Okay? No study, no more failure, no more, like I know you deal with it, I know you face it, right? But she cared for it. So then she didn't do well, she have more emotion here. Then she's this side is she stopped doing what matters. So you can see that the more she not doing what's matter, what she really care about here, then that move her more emotion here. The more she not opening up for that emotion, the more she's not being present here. Because being present here means, I have an emotion here, but there are something really meaningful here also. And yes, it is a big challenge here. So, and that person may even just view herself with just one view here, that the self view. Then she started viewing like, she's useless because she cannot do well in study. That how she slowly move into mental illness, towards that direction. So imagine if we can do something here, we can help her to learn to open up to her emotions here, to make room for that emotion, because that emotions that telling her that she care about her study, then she start to doing what matters here. Okay? And we are here, she has this support here, and with that, so you can potentially change the direction now, from moving into mental illness, moving into mental wellness, moving into she learned from her challenges. She start to have this resilience in ups and down in life. So this is what happened. So any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lai. So from what I can see here, you actually emphasize on the growth mindset. It's not only in parents, but we have to show it in the children to become more resilient. How can they bounce back, and then how they can accept their feelings and actually self-reflections. And the more they bounce back on their own, the more they can internalize the message that they are actually strong and capable. So actually, we have to encourage the healthy communication, right, between the parents and the children by actively listening. And it is important to acknowledge and understand the emotion that might be experiencing, even though it is feel uncomfortable. And building up a strong relationship is actually very, very important between the parents and the children. So actually, parents could play a more proactive role in addressing mental health issue among children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree because you know, as a parents, as a teacher here, you're very important in a kid's life. If I ask all of you here to imagine, you know, like a person that have been there for you, if you think of a person like that, you know, it can be one of your teachers, it can be your parents, uh, uh, and the word they say actually still stick in your mind. Like, you know, some words, no, that you no longer meeting them. Like I remember like there are a few moments in my life, I would call it kind of life changing, and it usually involve emotions, right? Those life changing moments, and you can always remember one or two persons, the word they say leave an impact in you until today. So I remember one of my church pastor kind of telling me that, you know, she he said that you are like an arrow in God's hands, you know, like like kind of God can use you for a greater things, yeah. So it kind of stay with me. It remind me that, you know, whenever I'm there are moments that I feel I cannot trust on myself anymore. You have that moment, you feel so vulnerable, you doubt about whatever you are doing here. But I kind of remember that, you know, like yeah, God can use you in a way that helpful, you know, to the society, to you. So those kind of work will kind of stay. And definitely there are words that kind of hurtful also, it kind of stay longer, you know, like you know, like parents say something, but definitely I can understand that they may not be intentionally, right? So definitely I'm not here to blame them, and we no need to blame ourselves also. We are humans here, right? We react, we say hurtful thing, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes intentionally. We are follower here, but we can learn from this experience. We can make it a moment to repair relationship also. You know, in fact, we are demonstrating to them that, yeah, things can go wrong, like mommy can go wrong also, you know, but I'm here to learn, you know. Let's learn together. I apologize for saying harsh word. I, you know, like I know I lash out, you know, and this is not helpful. I thought it can help you, but it appeared that it's not helping you. You play more games now. So how can we make it better here? You know, then we start to adopt that we perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that actually as an adult, it is okay to be honest and transparent with your child, and let them know that you are actually experiencing some extra stress or certain condition as well. And showing them how we deal with our own difficult feelings can actually help them to know their feeling, that they actually their sad feeling are okay, right?
Yeah. So instead of telling them it's okay, we show them, and that's really powerful, right? Showing instead of telling here, it is much more powerful. And yeah, and that conversation actually is also a way to show them also, because all of us learn by feedback. You get feedback from the environment, you get feedback from what you do. So we start to helping them to see that they are influencer in many ways. They can influence their own path here. Play important role some extent to face some stressor, right? Other than solely depend on parents themselves. Is there any extra resources to support parents themselves? Yeah, Chia Wei, I totally agree with that. Yeah, parents is yeah, a lot of time parents also need support. So it's very important for parents to reach out also. So I would say, let's say like like if you kind of sense that you already did a lot, and you need help, then it's okay to get help. So there are times you kind of say, yeah, my kids is moving to a unhealthy direction. I can see that, already even having like symptoms that's shown here, right? They start cannot really functioning in their life. Their school, their friendship, you can send it as a parents. Yeah, they are moving into not a very healthy direction. Then yes, you can get professional help in that way. And I know that like next week also there is workshop, right? That for parents, but in Mandarin, in Chinese. So that's another way for parents to learn, about yeah, a lot of time parents themselves need to have that experience, that to being validated. So the workshop it's one of the way that sometimes you can get the experience, then practicing and then start doing for my kids. Yeah. And probably in future we can also organize more this kind of workshop for parents also. Yeah. And also your own circle of support, like talk to someone that understanding, supportive. Yeah.
In Dr. Lai, in which level that we can encourage parents to seek help from psychiatrist or a counselor? Are they up to which level? What kind of level? Let's say, when a parent cannot deal with the mental, the behavior of the kids, are we encouraging them to seek help with counselor?
So I would say when you feel very helpless, when you're being very honest and you say I'm kind of helpless here. So people may tell you, no lah, still okay, but you get a sense it's really helpless here. It's your kids, they don't fully understand. Then go and seek help. Or for you it's like still okay, but a lot of people telling not okay, the teacher telling you not okay, then you ponder on like like, is my kid moving to a healthy direction? I may miss it, right? I may then maybe it's time to get help. Because like for us maybe we have only one kid, right? So we're not very sure. Sometimes I thought it's okay leh. It's just very quiet, very sitting in the room, like study, playing game, look very okay. But the teacher reported something. Like maybe something that I mislook here. So we will get feedback also. So no right or wrong here, and yeah, you can follow your instinct here. Even you want to seek help, but people say no need, but you yourselves feel that, you have a thought said no need, it's still okay, but people around you kind of telling you that, oh, they notice something here, like the school teacher. Oh, maybe it's also time to get help. Yeah. Or the child themselves telling you. Actually, we have I meet a lot of young people. They kind of telling me when they are 20 plus, they say they have been crying for help. They have been telling their parents that they kind of need help, but the parents would say, no, it's no matter, like, yeah, they kind of went through that. They complete their secondary school, but when they become adult, they have lots and lots of difficulty. They start cannot functioning in college, or they can functioning there. I have people come to me in 20 plus 30, high achiever, they are professional, but they say they don't know how to deal with feelings here. They are very robotic. There are moments they just break down, like they just collapse, and then they pick it up again. They move on. They achieve a lot of things, but they say that they feel really empty here. So I have people like that. So that's also kind of like make me kind of realize that probably parents need help also in that sense. So a lot of time when I talk to parents, they are quite actually they are quite clueless because they do not really have the knowledge about emotional health. Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe being a children in today's world is far more challenging than years before. Yeah, so thank you. Big thanks to Dr. Lai for your great presentation. I am really enjoying the conversation, and it is really great to connect to you. So thank you, everyone. I think we have covered all the questions, and we will. Yeah, this is a QR code for our feedback and attendance certificate. For those who need the attendance certificate, please scan it, and then we will send it to you when it's ready. And some advertisement here for today. For tonight, we will have another storytelling from a child, telling about the title of his story is I Am Calm. So it's 8 o'clock tonight. Please stay tuned to our Facebook, and we will have another session tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. The title of tomorrow morning's webinar is Keep Your Children Safe Online. So as a parent, as an adult, it is good to know that how we can, how to take care of the children online. What are the risks online, and actually what can we be aware of. All right, so thank you everyone for joining the webinar, and thank you once again, Dr. Lai, for joining us. All right, goodbye everyone, and have a nice day.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.